Hello, my name is Lang. If you're new to this channel, I'm a feng shui professional, teach about feng shui, Chinese Zodiac, and 八字. Today we're going to learn about friends and enemy for your Chinese Zodiac sign. So let's start with the rat Zodiac sign. So rat is a water sign. For clarification, we're just going to focus on the earthly branch, which is the Zodiac sign. I'm not going to focus on the yin and yang on the element as much, as that's determined by the heavenly stamp. Maybe for another video. So the rat's best friend is going to be the ox. So anyone that's 1 year younger than you is going to be your best friend, which is why I recommend anyone who's a rat and they're committing taishu or any other taishu problem, they will wear an ox jewelry because that's the best friend who's going to help them out in these tight situations. Secondary friend is going to be the triple joint, and that is the dragon and the monkey. So these create a triple joint as a triangle shape. So anyone who's like 4 years older than you or 4 years younger than you are your best friends. The caveat is that the three of them gotta be together. So you need someone who's older than you and younger than you. Generally, these tend to be your sibling if they're born in the right year. You have a large family, you're the youngest, and then you have a sibling who's like 8 years older than you or 4 years older than you. Or someone who's like 4 years older and 4 years younger, if you're a middle child like me. Now, what about enemy? We gotta look at this other chart. For rat. Sometimes we have what we call frenemy. They're both friend and enemy at the same time. Fortunately, we don't have any of that for rat. So the number one enemy for rat is the horse, which shown by this red line. So if you're a rat, take a look around you, see who is ruining your day. They're most likely a horse. They could be anyone. Most likely people that are 6 years older than you or 6 years younger than you, or could be like 18 years or so. Could be in-laws, could be your coworker, could be your children that's super ungrateful, and so on. Basically, if you're a rat and you have a horse in your life, good luck. So there are also secondary enemy. These are the sheep and rooster. They are people that could potentially cause some problem in your life or cause you grief. These relationships are not harmful as comparison to the rat and the horse. While like sheep and rooster could potentially cause some problem, these could be like spouses who like maybe play a prank on you every now and then. In comparison, they're not as bad. These could just be like a coworker who like to talk behind your back, but never directly. So they're more like behind the scene type of negativity compared to like with the rat and the horse. These are more direct confrontation that are directly affecting you. This could be more like a shouting match or direct confrontation. The impact is more direct compared to these other two relationships. They're negative, but less impactful in comparison to the two. Moving on to the ox. You could probably already guess, since we've just mentioned rat. So ox, best friend is rat. So ox is the earth water sign. That's why it joins so well with rat, who's a water sign. So you're an ox, anyone who's 1 year older than you are your best friend. You also have secondary friends. These are the snake and the rooster. They make a triangle relationship that's inseparable. So you're anyone who is a snake or rooster, chicken, they are your best friend too. Now what about enemies? Anyone who's 6 years apart. Basically anyone who's a sheep are your enemies. So if you're an ox, take a look at the people around you who are sheep. Pretty much your enemy already. You already know who they are. And probably people that you can write off in your life. Unless they're family, you kind of stuck with them. Now let's go down the list. I wouldn't call them enemy at this point. More like troublemaker in your life. These are going to be the dragons and the horses in your life. Notice there's some similarity with the rat. So you may share some enemy if you have a best friend who's a rat. And they don't like a horse, but they're not as bad in your life, but still cause you trouble. These are the troublemaker in your life. So horses in particular and dragons. These could be like competitor as well in your business. So take a look around you, see who those signs are of the people that are around you. On to the next sign. Let's go to tiger. So the tiger's best friend is going to be the pig with an asterisk. So even though we're best friends, it could be a little troubling as well. And you'll see why when we get to the enemy side. So for now, just think friends with some caveat in it. So the secondary friend would be the horse and the dog. So if you were to compare friends, the horse and the dogs might be closer friends in compared to the pig because of that caveat mentioned earlier. So your best friend may very well be a horse and a dog in comparison to a pig, who might be a friend with some caveat in it. So if you're a tiger, who are your enemies? That would be monkey. Monkeys are your nemesis. They're the people that will cause you grief in life, all sorts of trouble. Now, if for some reason they're your parents, you probably don't have a very good relationship with them. Now, going down the list, who are the troublemakers then? The snake and the pigs. Now, wait a minute. I thought you said like tigers and pigs are friends. Why are they enemies all of a sudden? Remember, they're tiers of enemies. Like, they're not the worst kind of enemy. You just want to strangle them. They're like the troublemakers in your life. Think of it as a couple. One day you could be friends, the next day you could be arguing, trying to tear each other apart, and then the following day you could be friends again. That type of relation is what I'm trying to describe here. Between tigers and pigs. You could be friends, and you might drift apart, and then you're friends again. So not necessarily a bad thing on this second tier list of enemies or troublemaker in this sense. So you may find yourself hating the snake more compared to the pig, since you do have that friendly buffer. So your enemy list would probably go like monkey, snake, and then pig with an asterisk. Because you were friends at one point, maybe you drift apart, there's always big potential of healing that relationship down the road. Because rarely you will have enemy for life. Next is rabbit. So similar to tiger, rabbit is wood element as well. And your best friend would be dog. So for the rabbit, take a look at people around you. If they're a dog, then they're probably the most compatible people with you. Secondary friends would be pigs and sheep. They're also compatible with you as a triangular relationship. So you have all three together, they're gonna bond very well. So I'll speak to this from my personal experience. I'm a pig, my older brother is a sheep, and my younger sister is a rabbit. And we get along quite well, as good as siblings would. Now what about the enemies for the rabbit? So anyone who's a rooster is the rabbit's worst enemy. Or just people you don't get along with in life, or try to get away from as much as possible. Don't want anything to do with them in your life. Secondary would be dragon and horse. So the troublemaker for you would be people that are 1 year or 3 years younger than you. The dragon and the horses in your life. They're the people that dare cause some trouble in your life, just enough to keep you on, but never gonna be your best supporter. That's how I see troublemakers. So the list would probably go like rooster, worst enemy, and then dragon, and then horses. Moving on, talk about dragon. Who are the best friends? Rooster are dragon's best friends. No caveat, just friends. They're just someone in your life who you can lean on in times of need. Secondary, we have monkeys and rat. These are the trifecta friendship that you might have in life. They're the rats, the monkeys. Take a look around you, see who are those people in your life that may be a rat or a monkey. The dragon's best friend are rooster, rat, and monkey. So the dragon's worst enemy in life are the dogs. You probably won't have that many dogs in life. If you do, they're probably people that you don't like very much or people you distant from. So be wary of the dogs around you if you're a dragon. And then ox and rabbit are your secondary enemies. They're more like troublemaker who are there to cause you grief. I know a couple that's like a rabbit and dragon. They get along at times, but they also quarrel behind the scene. The secondary enemies, more like troublemaker in life, are the ox and rabbit. They're there in your life, but they're not the worst kind of enemy you want to get rid of. They might be a friend or even a spouse that you may like them, but they cause you grief sometimes, a lot of times. Rooster are really the people in Dragon's life that they truly hate or want to get rid of in life, or want to avoid any cost in their life. Next, we talk about snake. Snake's best friend is monkey. With a caveat, they're only friends on paper. Here's why. Monkey is a metal water sign. The combination of these two relationships create water. Fire and water do not mix, causing this to be a frenemy relationship to the point that I don't even recommend snake wear monkey. If they run into taishu problem, I recommend them wear a horse who's also a fire sign when they have a taishu troubling year. If you're a snake, you may find yourself closer to these other two signs who are also your friends, ox and rooster in your life, who have this triple joint relationship with you compared to the monkey, who are your direct joint, also a clashing joint. So the friendship order for a snake would most likely gonna be like an ox, rooster, and maybe a monkey at the bottom of the list. So for snake, your enemies are the pigs. And yes, I'm a pig. I don't have anyone who's a snake in my life, except for my mother-in-law. Basically, snake and pig are never gonna get along, no matter how hard they try. They may get to a point where they have a mutual understanding, but they may never understand each other like bread and butter. They could maybe stand around each other in the same room for a short time. And the secondary enemies, troublemaker, are the tiger and the monkey, which is mentioned. Monkeys are the friends with a caveat. So this confirmed that conflict I mentioned earlier. So as far as enemy goes, pigs are the top of your list, and then monkey, and then tiger, and monkey are next on the list. So you're a snake, just beware of people that are like 3 years, 6 years, 9 years apart from you. These could be your potential enemy in life. Okay. So horses, who are your friends? Sheep is your best friend. Take a look around you. See anyone 1 year younger than you. Are your best friend right now? Secondary would be tiger and dog. The three of you together will make a very good trifecta friendship relationship. So if you're a horse, just remember sheep, tiger, and dog are your best friends. Now what about the enemies? You may have guessed that rat is the horse's enemy, since I mentioned horse is the rat's enemy. So the feeling is mutual. You guys don't like each other. Here's where we made different, because the secondary enemies are usually different. They're the troublemaker in your life. So the ox and the rabbit are your secondary enemy. They're not necessarily people you hate in life, but people that cause trouble in your life. You may keep them around because they're not the most hateful person in your life, but they could still be on your list, just not as high as the rat. So your horse, you have a list. It probably goes like a rat person, and then go down the list would be like an ox, because they're rat's best friend. Then go down to the rabbit. Next is a sheep or goat. We just mentioned it, so you may already guess. Horse is your best friend. Anyone who's 1 year older than you are your best friend. This relationship just worked very well. Horse is fire, and then sheep is earth with a touch of fire in it. So the combination of the two create a really strong bond. Your secondary friend would be pig and rabbit. These are your trifecta friends that you may also have in life. So as a sheep, take a look around you, see who else is a pig or rabbit in your life. They're your best friends. No matter what you do, wherever you are, could be coworkers, spouses. These are your biggest supporter in life. Now about enemies. Ox are the sheep's worst enemy. These are the people you want to avoid in life. Probably don't want anything to do with them. They're coworkers, friends, you can kind of distance them away, but their family, you kind of stuck with them for life. So rat and dog are your secondary enemies in life. They do have potential of causing you trouble down in life. May not be immediate, but it could be like 10 years from now or 20 years. Maybe you're a sheep and you marry a dog, and 15 years later they end up divorcing you for whatever reason and turn a really ugly relationship. That could happen. You never know. It's always a toss up with these secondary enemy relationship. You could be well one day and fighting the next day. Moving on to monkey. So monkey's best friend is snake with a strong caveat. As I mentioned before, going through snake, monkey and snake get together on paper, but they're not true friends. It's more like a frenemy relationship, friend and enemy at the same time. If I'm a monkey, I wouldn't invest too much time into a relationship with a snake, whereas I would spend more time building friendship with a rat and a dragon potentially. This is more of a stabler trifecta friendship that you could develop with someone who's a rat or who's a dragon. Better if a spouse, sibling, or coworker belong to these signs, rat and dragon in particular. So the friendship list would probably be like rat, dragon, and maybe snake at the very bottom. For monkey, your worst enemy is the tiger. Yep, you guys just don't get along. It's metal versus wood at this point. You have a sword that try to chop a tree down. That's how I look at these two relationships. For monkey, if you have someone that's a tiger in your life, you probably best distance yourself. Other sign you may have issue with are the snake and the pig. So snake and pig are both potential troublemaker in your life. But as you can see, snake and pig actually don't get along each other. Between the two, snake is actually more harmful to you because a monkey is a metal water sign and snake is a fire sign, while pig is a water sign. So monkey and pig actually do not clash. It may just be harmless teasing or pranks between friends. If you were to create like an enemy list for monkey, tiger would be at top of the list, and then snake, and then maybe pigs down at the very bottom. Potentially. Rooster or chicken, which do you prefer? I don't know. If you're a man, rooster makes sense, but if you're a female, then rooster doesn't make any sense. You're female, should I just call you a chick? The rooster's best friend is dragon. So you have any dragon in life, they're probably your best friends. And also you may have friends that are ox and snake. Not a whole lot of conflict here. Everything worked out pretty well for rooster. The dragon, ox, and snake are your best friends. Now what about enemies? Well, rabbit is your worst enemy. So you're a rooster or chick. Stay away from the rabbit. The secondary types are rat and dog. These are pretty harmless though, and could just be pranks among friends. So I wouldn't count them as true enemies. So if you're a rooster / chick, true enemies are the rabbits. Next, we're the dog. Where are my dogs at? Dog's best friend is actually the rabbit. As you might have guessed, as I said, rabbit's best friend is the dog. So the friendship is mutual. Tiger and horses are also your best friends as well. So you may have friends in all three of these signs. So for dogs, just remember rabbit, tiger, and horses. But who are your enemies, dogs? Dragon. Yep, anyone who's a dragon is probably someone you don't get along with. Preferably, you just want to write them off. But if they're family, sorry, there's not much you can do about it. The secondary enemy are the sheep and rooster. But it depends. They do have a minor clash that could build up over time. You and sheep are more like a love and hate relationship. You might like each other at one point and then hate each other the next day. It could be years apart. Sheep and dog are just not a very good combination. So for dog, just watch out for these three signs. Number one is definitely the dragon. Next is the sheep and rooster. So take a look at the people around you. Lastly, we have the pig. So pigs and tiger are like best friends with a caveat. It could bite back somewhere down the road, but they're great together short-term wise. It's not as bad as the monkey and the snake, where there's actually clashing. Pigs and tiger can develop long-term friendship, but there could be potential issues that cause a rift in these friendships. So it's not a perfect joint between the two. Whereas you can have a more stable friendship between the rabbit and the sheep, a trifecta of friendship when you gather the three of them, just like me and my siblings. So for a pig, the friendship level will probably go something like a sheep, a rabbit, and a tiger. Now for enemies. So snake is definitely a pig's enemy. Two of you just aren't meant to be. You guys will never get along, no matter how hard you try. If you talk about friends, coworker, just cut your losses and move on. Unless they're family, which you stuck with them. So do the best you can. Other enemy would be like a tiger and a monkey. These are pretty minor because tiger, you have that friendship bond already. This bond is more like a small rift between your friendship. A little setback, but not enough to cause like a break in friendship. And then monkey, as mentioned before when I talk about monkey, it's really a pretty mild more like a friendship type of praying. For pigs, you really only have one true enemy. Just beware of a snake if you're a pig. And that's all the friends and enemy for each of the 12 Chinese zodiac signs. Comment down below if you have any question. Also, let me know if you have any relationship problems. I would love to hear them and try to provide solution if I can. And I'll see you next time. I post at least once a week, so I'll see you next week.